Hare Krishna, my dear devotees.
Hare Krishna.
I will begin by singing the Mangalacharana prayers and leading a short kirtan. Then I'll read a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is fascinating. It draws parallels between the activities of Lord Ramachandra, Lord Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya. And you might be aware of the form of the Lord called Sadbhuj. So Sadbhuj, he has the water pot and danda of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the flute of Krishna, and the bow and arrow of Ramachandra. And then, after Tukaram Prabhu's introduction, I'll speak about some of my association with Srila Prabhupada. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Vaishnavamsa Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Samagana Bhavita Shri Vishakhandamsta Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shri Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajakacharya Stotra Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajakacharya Stotra Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So I will read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 5. Narada's teachings to Vasudeva, text 34. I selected this verse because it's beautiful, it's deep, and it's intriguing how the same description of the activities of Lord Ramachandra fit the description of the activities of Lord Krishna and fit the activities of Lord Chaitanya. So please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Tyaktva Sudusya Jasarepshita Raja Lakshmin. Dharmishta Arya Vachasaya Dagadaranyam. Maya Mrigam Daitayapsitam Anvadadvad. Bande Mahapurushate Charanaravindam. Tyaktva, abandoning. Sudustyaja, most difficult to give up. Surepshita, anxiously desired by the demigods. Raja Lakshmin, the goddess of fortune, and her opulence. Dharmishta, most perfectly fixed in religiousness. Aryavachasa, according to the words of a Brahmin, who had cursed him to be deprived of all the happiness of family life. Yet he who agat went aranyam to the forest, taking to the renounced order of life. Mayamrigam, the conditioned soul, who is always searching out illusory enjoyment. Daitaya, out of sheer mercy. Ipsitam, his desired object. Anvadavat, running after. Vande, I offer my homage. Mahapurusha, O Lord Mahaprabhu. Te, to your Charanaravindam. Who knows what Charanaravindam means? Lotus feet. Translation. O Mahapurusha, I worship your lotus feet. You gave up the association of the goddess of fortune and all her opulence, which is most difficult to renounce and is hankered after by even the great demigods. Being the most faithful follower of the path of religion, you thus left for the forest in obedience to a Brahmin's curse. Out of sheer mercifulness, you chased after the fallen conditioned souls, who are always in pursuit of the false enjoyment of illusion, and at the same time engaged in searching out your own desired object, Lord Ramachandra. Please repeat. O Mahapurusha, I worship your lotus feet. You gave up the association of the goddess of fortune and all her opulence, which is most difficult to renounce and is hankered after by even the great demigods. Being the most faithful follower of the path of religion, You thus left for the forest in obedience to a Brahman's curse. Out of sheer mercifulness, you chased after the fallen conditioned souls who are always in pursuit of the false enjoyment of illusion. And at the same time, engaged in searching out your own desired object. Lord Shamsundar. Purport. According to the Vaishnavacharyas, this important verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam is understood to describe Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna, and also Lord Sri Ramachandra. This verse appears within the discussion by the sage Karbajan of the Yuga avatars, or the different incarnations of the personality of Godhead who deliver the conditioned souls of each age. The prayers ending with the word Vande Mahapurushate Charanaravindam are understood to glorify the incarnation of Lord Krishna in Kali Yuga, known as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived for 24 years in Navadvip as a householder and enjoyed immense popularity among both scholars and ordinary persons. His Sankirtan movement was completely supported by the local government, even though it was Muslim. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had the pleasure of marrying the goddess of fortune. No ordinary woman of the material world, no matter how gorgeous she may be, can in any way compare with the beautiful goddess of fortune. Everyone in the universe, including Lord Brahma, is searching after the goddess of fortune. Therefore, it is stated here, Surepshita. Surepshita means eagerly desired by the demigods. However, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna appearing as a Brahmin, and therefore he is certainly dharmista, or the most religious. Actually, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always dharmista, whether he appears as a cowherd boy, a great king, or a Brahmin, because the Lord himself is the original source and personification of all religious principles. However, in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there are very few political or economic activities. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared as a great philosopher Brahmin, and thus he certainly is dharmista. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the 17th chapter of the Adi Lila, it is described that a certain Brahmin who was well known for being harsh and cursing others could not enter the kirtan hall where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was performing kirtan because the door was locked. This took place at Shiva Sangam. Being very agitated and breaking his Brahmin's thread, he cursed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the next day on the bank of the Ganges, saying, "I shall now curse you, for your behavior has greatly aggrieved me. You shall be bereft of all material happiness." And how did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu respond to that so-called curse? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, felt great jubilation within himself. Since his mission was Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga, That's a line from Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. To give up the illusion of material sense gratification and staunchly engage 24 hours a day in the devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took this curse as a blessing. And soon after, the Lord took sannyas. Thus it is stated in this verse by the words of the Aryan, the Brahman, Aryavachasa. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, yad agad aranyam, and when traveling through the different forests of India, on the way to Vrindavan, and later South India. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted especially to preserve the prestige of the Brahmin class, and therefore he decided to keep the Brahmin's curse intact. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained the word Maya Mrigam as follows. Maya means one's so-called wife, children, and bank account, which keep one firmly bound up in the material bodily concept of life. The word mrigam indicates mrigayati, or to search out. Thus, Maya Mrigam indicates the conditioned living entity who is always frantically searching for the latest up-to-the-minute sense gratification in the material bodily concept of society, friendship, and love. Anadavat indicates that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always visibly going here and there, searching after the fallen conditioned souls. He is so merciful, most merciful incarnation. And therefore Rupa Goswami has glorified him, Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. That he is the most munificent incarnation of Godhead. And Srila Prabhupada actually commented that we, as followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or servants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or representatives of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, should also manifest that quality of being munificent. Anadavat indicates that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was always visibly going here and there, searching after the fallen conditioned souls. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would sometimes embrace the conditioned souls on the pretext of religious friendship or ecstasy. But actually the Lord was touching the bodies of the conditioned souls to pull them out of the ocean of material existence and hurl them into the ocean of ecstatic love of Godhead. Thus, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most merciful and munificent incarnation of the Lord, whose mercies surpassed the bounds of mundane discrimination in the matter of caste, color, and creed. We heard this from Vaisheshik Maharaj. No restriction, no consideration. The word Daitaya can be explained as follows. The Sanskrit word Daya means mercy. Thus, by grammatical derivation, the word used in this verse, Daitaya, indicates that because of being most merciful, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was busily engaged in rescuing the fallen conditioned souls who are completely distracted and bewildered by the external illusory energy of the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada, through disciplic succession, continued the same mission. The quality of being the most merciful is part and parcel of the character of the Mahapurusha, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, This verse also describes the incarnation of Lord Krishna himself in his original blackish form. Thus the words Surepshita Rajya Lakshmi indicate Sri Mathura Sampati, or the opulence of Mathura. Mathura is described in Vedic literature as the reservoir of all opulence because of the touch of the Lord's lotus feet in that precinct. But Krishna, although taking birth in the opulent city of Mathura, transferred himself to the forest village of Vrindavan. In this case, the word Aryavachasa indicates the order of Lord Krishna's original parents, Vasudeva and Devaki. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10.3.22 and 29, both Vasudeva and Devaki expressed their fear at the threat of Kamsa, who had already killed all of Krishna's elder brothers. The word Aryavachasa thus indicates that with great love they requested Krishna to kindly make some arrangement to avoid Kamsa. And Krishna, to obey their order, transferred himself to the forest village of Vrindavan, Yad Agad Aranyam. It's fascinating how these words apply to all three, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna, and Lord Ramachandra. In this context, the words Maya Brigam indicate the special exalted relationship between Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna. Maya also indicates the internal potency of Krishna, Yogamaya. The original form of Krishna's internal potency is Srimati Radharani. Due to the inconceivable love of Srimati Radharani, Lord Krishna becomes easily controlled by her. Yes, in Radharani's birthplace, Varshana, there is a saying that whatever Radha wants, Krishna does. And whatever Radha does, Krishna likes. So, due to the inconceivable love of Srimati Radharani, Lord Krishna becomes easily controlled by her. Thus, Mrigam, or animal, in this case indicates Krida Mrigam, or a toy animal. Just as a beautiful young girl may play with so many dolls or stuffed animals, similarly, Lord Krishna becomes just like a doll in the hands of the most beautiful young girl, Srimati Radharani. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, Srimati Radharani performed innumerable types of worship in order to bind Krishna more and more to her, because Srimati Radharani cannot live without Krishna. Thus, due to Radharani's aradhana, or worship, Krishna can never leave Vrindavan. He runs here and there in Vrindavan, protecting the cows, playing with his friends, and engaging in countless intrigues of love with Srimati Radharani and the gopis. Thus the word Anvadavat indicates Krishna's boyish activities. His running throughout the transcendental land of Vrindavan, tightly under the control of the love of Srimati Radharani. Srila Giriraj Swami has explained how this verse also describes the incarnation of Lord Ramachandra. Although the Lord is completely independent and detached from everything, he becomes attached to his pure devotees due to their love for him. In the great capital of Ayodhya, all the citizens love Ramachandra more than can be described. In this context, Aryavachasa means by the order of his father. You may know the history, but Lord Ram's father had promised a boon to one of his co-wives, named Kaikeyi. And at the time, Kaikeyi said that I won't take the boon now, but when required, I will ask for it. So she asked for the boon on the eve of his coronation, that Lord Rama should be banished, sent into exile. In the great capital of Ayodhya, all of the citizens loved Ramachandra more than can be described. In this context, Aryavachasa means by the order of his father, who was just like his guru. Ramachandra gave up everything and went to the forest. There he exhibited his great affection for Mother Sita and chased after Mayamrigam, or the illusory deer that had been created by the trick of Ravana. That this golden deer was especially desired by Srimati Sita Devi is indicated by the word Daitayapsitam. Everyone should follow the example of the sage Karbajan and worship the lotus feet of the Mahaprabhu, the Mahapurusha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One should not rot on the platform of mental speculation and whimsical interpretation, but should actually revive his lost relationship with the absolute truth by surrendering to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Those who are worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are deriving wonderful spiritual results. My dear devotees, this is describing you. You are worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and experiencing wonderful spiritual results. And tasting the fruit of love of Krishna. Therefore, Bande Mahapurushate Charanara. Let us humbly bow down at the lotus feet of the original personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Mahapurusha glorified within Srimad Bhagavatam. Corroborating the explanation of this verse, the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also worship him in his six-armed form of Sadbhuj. 2 arms carry the water pot and danda of the sannyasi Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 2 arms carry the flute of Lord Krishna, and 2 arms carry the bow and arrow of Sri Ramachandra. This Sadbhuj form is the actual purport of this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai. And this is the Sadbhuj. So, Tukaram Prabhu, by the way, I mean, not to find fault, but it's not that peanut butter goes with chocolate. Peanut butter goes with jelly. But anyway, but still, the purport is that you... Huh? So, yes, Tukaram Prabhu alluded to my relationship with Srila Prabhupada. So I thought I will describe my first meeting with him, which was most significant. It was turning point in my life. When I was in high school, I had the desire to achieve perfect happiness. But I understood that perfect happiness could not be achieved materially, but only spiritually. Then I came to understand that in order to progress spiritually, one needed a guru. And then my quest became to find my guru. And in the course of that search, I met many, many gurus, or so-called gurus. I won't mention all of them, but there were many. Also, I had a vague impression of what my guru looked like, and he didn't have hair. And all the other gurus had long hair and beards. So I was almost becoming hopeless. So I was a student at Brandeis University, and I lived off campus, and I had some friends over for dinner. I was already vegetarian, and our plan was to go to a movie after dinner. And in those days they had art houses where they showed special movies, artistic movies. So, but on campus I had seen a poster advertising lecture, Bhagavad Gita as it is, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. So, when it was time to go to the movie, something inside of me was impelling me that I must go to this lecture. And one friend in particular, lady friend, said, why can't you be normal like other people? Why do you always have to be chasing after these swamis and gurus? And she raised her voice, and I raised my voice. And I was an obliging type of person, so she raised her voice and I raised my voice. I said, okay, this will be the last one I ever go to. So we went to the campus, and coincidentally the program was in the auditorium of the psychology department, and I happened to be a psychology major. And, because of all the discussion, we arrived late, and there was a kirtan on the stage. And one by one, the students in the audience were climbing up on the stage and singing and dancing in the kirtan, which I also felt like doing, but I knew that would be too much for my friends, so I just sort of swayed back and forth in place. Then afterwards, Satsvarupa announced that if anyone is driving to Boston or Cambridge, they should meet the devotees in the lobby because the devotees need a lift. And I was going to the movies in Cambridge, so I met them in the lobby. The first devotee who spoke to me was Bharadraj, and he was very high on Krishna consciousness. But anyway, so everyone piled into my car, my red Rambler station wagon that my father had given me as a high school graduation present. And so I was in the front seat with the lady friend and a devotee named Janava. And then, the others were in the middle seated in the back section. So I had so many questions, and so I asked Janava about Yogananda, because I had read Autobiography of a Yogi. And she said, "Oh, Yogananda. He's just a shopkeeper. If you ever visit his ashram in California, he keeps everything in stock. Whatever you want, he pulls it out." I mean, she said more, but for the sake of brevity, I'll keep it short. And then she said, and he has a monument for Mahatma Gandhi as a worker for world peace. Mahatma Gandhi was not a worker for world peace. He wanted to drive the British out of India. He doesn't even know who Mahatma Gandhi is. So then I asked about Zen, and she gave such a brilliant answer that it went beyond anything I had read within the Zen tradition. She said it's like you're watching images on a movie screen, but actually they have no reality. But if you draw your attention from the movie screen, there's a beam of light, and the light comes to a point. Oh, wow, great. The void. But behind that point, there's a bulb and a projector. And behind the projector, there's a person. I thought, wow, this is amazing. So she was answering all my questions. But then I thought, she's speaking with such authority, but she's just a young girl. It can't be her own authority, it must be the authority of her guru. So we got to Harvard Square, and I let the devotees out, and then I realized I didn't know how to reach them. So I left the car, and the first devotee I caught up with was Petit Pavan Das. He's now in the sort of San Francisco area. And he said, "You see all these people? They're just like sleepwalkers. They don't know who they are or where they're going." I mean, everything the devotees said seemed so profound. And suddenly I heard loud honking of horns, because all the traffic was backed up at Harvard Square, because I'd left my car there. And I said, "Quick, give me the address to the temple." So I went to the temple the next night, and Srila Prabhupada gave a lecture, and because I wasn't familiar with the philosophy, and also I wasn't used to his thick Bengali accent, I couldn't understand everything he was saying. But at a certain point he said, "Out of many thousands of men, one will seek perfection." And I thought, that's me. He's talking about me. So then at the end, he asked for questions. And I asked a question that was burning within my heart. And I said, there's so many swamis and gurus, and each recommends a different process of self-realization. So how do I know which is actually best? And Srila Prabhupada's response was brilliant. He asked me a question, what is your goal? Because I was asking, what is the best means? But a basic question is, what is the best means to what end? He said, what is your goal? Do you want to become God, or do you want to serve God? If you want to become God, that means you're not God now. And how can not God become God? God is always God. Krishna is always God. Whether he's playing on the lap of Mother Yashoda or speaking the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. He's always God. He doesn't have to become God by yoga or meditation. So if you sow the seed of service to God and water it by chanting, then God will give you the sunlight and all the conditions favorable to make it grow. But if you want to become God, you're only cheating yourself, because why should God help the competition? It said, you can become godly, but you cannot become God. Now at that point, I had the distinct impression that Srila Prabhupada was seeing through me, through the walls of the temple, over the roads, into my apartment, into my bathroom, where in ornate, colorful lettering I had inscribed a sign, "You are God," in case I forgot. So back in the temple room, so Srila Prabhupada says, "So, what do you think? You want to become God or you want to serve God?" So by then I knew I should say I want to serve God, but I also knew I couldn't cheat Srila Prabhupada, so I said, I want to serve God, but actually I wanted to become God. And Srila Prabhupada said yes. So then I knew I had found my perfect spiritual master, and I bowed down my head in obeisance, as I had seen the other devotees do. And I kept it down for a long time, mainly in the mood of surrender. But I was also afraid to look up, because I thought everyone would be glaring at me, oh, he wanted to become God, he wanted to become God. So I stayed down for quite a while, but then I heard sounds that indicated food was being served. So I thought, oh, now was probably a good time to come up. So I came up, and nobody was glaring at me, everyone was smiling and happy. And they brought Srila Prabhupada a large platter of prasad, and he said, I'm not God, I cannot eat so much. Just distribute. So the first item I had was a cauliflower pakora. And I experienced such an explosion of taste in my mouth, like nothing I'd ever experienced before. And every item was like that. It's just out of this world, so many different colors and textures and flavors. And then I thought, yes, everything about Krishna consciousness is perfect. The Guru is perfect. The philosophy is perfect. The process, the chanting is perfect. The food is perfect. Everything about Krishna consciousness is perfect. So then, I surrendered to Srila Prabhupada, and thereafter my goal was, and it still is really, to just to bring people to Srila Prabhupada. Because I know if somehow or other, if someone becomes connected to Srila Prabhupada, their lives will be completely successful. After Srila Prabhupada left, I felt a little concerned. How will I bring people to Srila Prabhupada now? But then I realized that they can still be connected to Srila Prabhupada through his books, through his society, through the process that he has given us. So, my dear devotees, we are all extremely fortunate that we have come in touch with Srila Prabhupada. He's like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, merciful, most merciful, and he reciprocates with even a slight bit of service that anyone offers. He said, even if you turn one screw in Krishna's temple, Krishna will never forget it. So yeah, he's grateful. Yeah. And we're grateful for him. Yeah. So, my dear devotees, thank you for listening so patiently and attentively. And now, if any of you have any questions or comments, any reflections you want to share, you can raise your hand. Yes. Oh, there's two.
Thank you very much, Maharaj, for the sweet lecture. You mentioned in the purport regarding emphasizing again and again on not going towards mental speculation. And it was also sweet that I heard that your major was psychology. I didn't know. I wanted to ask your idea. Is there any difference between the act of mental speculation versus the act of thinking? If they're the same, does not mental speculating and stop thinking? If they're different, what are the differences?
Between mental speculation and what? Thinking. Well, what first came to mind was on a morning walk, someone said to Srila Prabhupada, I think, and Prabhupada said, you think? You don't know? If you don't know, don't think. Yes, I was a psychology major at Brandeis, and the chairman of the department was Abraham Maslow, and I found many similarities between what he taught and what Srila Prabhupada taught. One of his ideas was hierarchy of needs, and another idea was peak experiences. At one of the early programs with Srila Prabhupada in Boston, I felt, anyway, I just felt like this overwhelming love for everyone who was in the room, and then that feeling of love extended beyond the walls of the room, and maybe I'm having a peak experience. But after that, I went up to Srila Prabhupada. It was one of the first times I approached him personally like that, outside of a class. And I said, Srila Prabhupada, this chanting is wonderful. And Srila Prabhupada started, you would say, to laugh. His chest was heaving. And I knew he wasn't laughing at me, but it was like a type of ecstasy. He was laughing. And he said, thank you very much. So, thinking is one of the functions of the mind, thinking, feeling, and willing. But when it comes to the absolute truth, we should not speculate, but we should hear from authorities. But otherwise, in ordinary matters, we can think, we can evaluate, we can analyze, and consider what is best. But not when it comes to the absolute truth. We cannot approach the absolute truth through our limited mind and senses and intelligence, but we have to receive the knowledge through submissive oral reception from authorities. Yes? Do we have a microphone that can reach him?
I can speak up.
Okay, speak up.
Yeah. I mean, no disrespect to you, the movement whatsoever, Srila Prabhupada. I'm pretty new to the movement myself, so I'm kind of just wondering, but from my personal worldview, and from being here and around devotees for this past week, I see a lot of focus on bringing people to Srila Prabhupada, and I have a lot of respect for the teaching and the work that he did to bring people to the Lord. But my question is, shouldn't the movement be trying to bring people straight to the Lord instead of straight to a person?
That is a very good question. The thing is that we cannot approach the Lord directly. We want to approach the Lord, but we cannot approach the Lord directly. We have to approach Him through Guru. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Evam paramparam praptam imam rajarshyo vidu, that Krishna says he originally, imam vivashvate yoga proktam aham avyam, that he originally imparted this knowledge to Vivashwan, the sun god. And in that way the knowledge was passed down through disciplic succession, parampara. You know what is disciplic succession? Yeah. So like our disciplic succession, parampara, Krishna spoke to Brahma, Brahma spoke to Narada, Narada spoke to Vyasa, and in that way from master to disciple, the knowledge was passed down through an unbroken chain, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then his followers, and then our recent acharyas, and then Srila Prabhupada. So that's parampara. So the knowledge is received through parampara, and the service to Krishna is offered up through parampara. So yes, our goal is the Lord, to approach the Lord and to serve the Lord, but we cannot jump over and reach the Lord directly, but we have to go through parampara. Thank you. Good question. Yes?
I kind of have two questions. When you met Srila Prabhupada, were you already practicing like Kundalini or Hatha Yoga? And did you continue that after you joined the movement? And my second question is how could one teach Krishna consciousness to people who are joined in like a Hatha Yoga class, like that are just kind of there to move their body? How can, like, what's the best way to open up Krishna consciousness to like people like that?
Yeah, among the many swamis and gurus I met in my search, one was a Hatha yogi named Swami Satchidananda, and he gave a talk at Brandeis University, and he said that by yoga you could gain control over your involuntary muscles, and you could command your intestines, ascending colon advance, transverse colon advance, descending colon advance, rectum pass. So I thought, that's interesting, but where will that take us? But I was really looking for a guru. I didn't want to discount anyone. So I asked if I could ride with him in the car to the airport. So his followers said no, there was no room in his car, but I could ride with some of his disciples. And in the car, his disciples were complaining about the different types of food they missed since they joined the ashram. I thought, that's odd. They were just with their guru and they're just thinking about the types of food they're missing since they joined the ashram. I thought, anyway, they're just the students. So we got to the airport, and Swami Satchidananda, he was really the picture of Indian spirituality with long hair and a beard. He actually had a flower behind his ear. But he was very warmly and tightly embracing some of his female followers. And then I thought, he's not my perfect master. So, as far as introducing Bhakti Yoga to yoga classes, Hatha Yoga classes, what is the actual purpose of Hatha Yoga? Nowadays people might do it just for health, but that wasn't the original idea. The original idea was to enable the body to sit for long periods of time in meditation on the Lord. That's the actual purpose behind Hatha Yoga. So I think if you can just sort of weave that in, so they know that in its original intention, Hatha Yoga or good health is not an end in itself, but it was actually just meant to make the body fit to meditate on the Supreme for long periods of time without being disturbed. Okay, so the hand at the back, you can blame Tukaram Prabhu for cutting it short. But I'll be around, you can ask me separately. Thank you very much.